I first saw the car today, and I'd seen some images of it, but to see it in real was the first time today. And the fit of the fit of the dress and the car just seemed to work really, really well. And with Terry flying around, taking all these gorgeous angles, and Jessica working it like such a pro, they're going to be great, the pictures. Car design, I'm really interested in car design. I mean, historically, all the way through from like 1930s through to the 80s. Kind of even like SL2 Mercedes and Bobby Ewing through to the kind of present day ones. They have a correlation within what's relevant for people and what people want from things, and I think that's what you want with clothes. And so there's a definite synergy between car design and clothing design, like there is within music and in culture in general. I really see. I mean, I see fashion as a reflection of the world. The world of design, what's going on in the world, ecological things, aesthetic things, the whole combination. It's things that are relevant for the time, and I think that's what's interesting with design for me. I don't have a specific muse or woman. I find it a bit of an old concept for me. That I really like the idea. Well, there's so many different types of women in the world, and I think one really interesting thing for women now is that they've got such a huge amount of choice. For one day you can, if you want to wear something super relaxed, you can do that. If you want to wear some, like a Ungaro cocktail dress or a Celine, kind of soft suit, you could do that. It's not like, say, 15 years ago where you'd have to wear like a sort of look. You can really pick and choose, and I think that and being able to choose kind of really interesting statement things is pretty cool. I think women have a really good option within the world today for that. I mean, within Ungara, we work with some amazing print designers. We work with amazing embroidery designers like Lesage, and I think the thing that ties them all together, which is again a super nice thing with Mercedes, is that it's all about a certain type of quality and a real kind of integrity and authenticity, and that all of those together make a very, very concise visual package. Well, when I woke up this morning, actually, I didn't think I had a pulse, but I thankfully did. What accelerates my pulse? I get super excited about life, travelling, meeting people. Occasions like today, a Sunday to come to do see a photo shoot with Terry, working with Sam in a place I've never been to before, to see a whole host of new things. I find the world. I don't like to be in just like in one little studio and just there only. I like the combination of doing lots of drawing and then doing lots of travelling. And I think as a designer, you have to keep your eyes open and see what's going on in the world. You're meeting new people, seeing what they're like, what their viewpoints are. What you don't have to agree with them all, but it's interesting, and it's that I find really inspiring and will hopefully keep my pulse moving for some time. The whole design process is it has to be really, really organised. I like to be as creative as possible. There are certain business constraints within it, but at the same time, you've obviously got to be super creative and design things that are relevant for the world today. That for me, that's really important. And to do that with my own line and with Ungaro, we have to be really, really, really organised. And the more organised the team is, then the more creative I can be. So if I arrive in Paris, everybody knows what's expected that day. The deadlines will have to be met. It has to be run a bit like a military machine. In my London studio, we have 5 full-time people, and then we bring in freelancers. And in the Paris studio, there are 5, 6 designers, and then they have a couture atelier of 8. So it's a pretty extensive studio and quite a lot to manage. And then to keep everybody in sync is a really exciting challenge to my job. Right now we're working on Resort, which we're going to show in New York in June, mid-June, which is kind of... I never tried to do something just so obviously thematic, but this is, for one, has kind of developed a kind of interesting marine underwater world. I've become very obsessed with parrotfish and clownfish, and I saw these amazing sea snakes with the stripes, these reticulated sea snakes, and all these, and they're kind of the colours and the contrast of all of those. So I've been super inspired by all of that. So that's about as far as I can tell you where we're going. Well, I'd seen the car for the first time today proper. I'd seen photos of the A-Class, and to see it in real life, it kind of surpassed all the things that I'd seen in an image. It looks supremely modern, again, within the craftsmanship and workmanship of the detailing on the exterior. It looks incredibly beautiful, really slick, and just looks like a super modern machine, which is kind of what I always love about Mercedes. They have that totally identifiable, individual, ephemeral thing about them. Like, you just instinctively know it's a Mercedes. It's a hugely innovative step to work with a photographer like Terry. I mean, you know, Terry's vocabulary of photography is really broad. You know, he works with incredible clients like Tom Ford, through to Mercedes-Benz, and then can be taking pictures for Vice magazine. And I think within that, he's a very progressive photographer. And I think it's that broadness of his photographic vocabulary that's going to make a really interesting contradiction. It's not, you know, you're going to get an unexpected but brilliant image from working with Terry. I do have a driver's license, and I'd love to drive a Mercedes. I don't own one, and I don't actually own a car at the moment. So
don't you get one for?
That's what I'm trying to wrangle. Yeah.
And we are.
Aren't we all? Which one do we want? No. I really enjoy driving. I mean, I live predominantly in London, and I bicycle everywhere there.
It's a car city.
It's really, for me, it's really great time to see things and think. But then I really like to get out into the countryside, and to really, and I have good friends who live like an hour and a half outside of London, and then to drive around in the countryside, I find really inspiring and really great from a design perspective. You know, you can go to the beach, visit beautiful stately homes, go and see some parks, all these kind of things, and to go around in a very nice Mercedes would be fantastic for me. I'd be even more inspired.